Have you ever snapped at someone you love over something tiny, or felt a wave of hurt from just a single word? That's not weakness, and it's not about being too sensitive. It's something far deeper, rooted in your past. As Dr. Gabor Maté explains, being triggered means having a reaction far out of proportion to the situation, because of the pain we still carry. If you've ever wondered why your emotions can feel so intense even in calm moments, this conversation will reveal the truth. Our childhood experiences can live inside us for decades, shaping every reaction until we choose to heal. And as Dr. Maté reminds us, as long as there's ammunition inside, it only takes a small spark to set it off.
My capacity to get triggered. But see, triggered is an interesting word because we keep using it. But what does it mean? Well, it means a reaction that's way out of proportion to the actual stimulus.
Yeah.
Now, when you actually look at metaphor comes from a gun. Now, how big a part of the gun is the trigger?
Small
little part. What makes the trigger work is that there's ammunition and explosive charge. So as long as I'm full of explosive charge, which is my unresolved trauma, somebody will say boo and I'll go, ooh,
yeah.
So my capacity to get triggered, my difficulty believing that I was really loved and accepted in my marriage relationship, even though I was.
Wow.
My tendency to blame others for my own reactions rather than taking responsibility.
In there.
We mentioned the addictive behaviors. Certainly, the first book I wrote in ADHD is called Scattered Minds. My scattered mind is certainly an outcome of early stress, because that dissociation, that tuning out is just an escape mechanism. So the way I was unable to see my kids for the beautiful, sensitive creatures that they were, in my workaholism, it's shown up in so many ways.
You said that not believing that people love us.
Yeah.
That's huge, man.
Yeah.
What is that? Why do we sometimes, you'll be in a marriage, in a relationship, and we'll still believe that person, they don't love me, or we won't believe their affections. What did you say?
We won't believe we're loved, or accepted. Well, Peter Levine, who's one of the great trauma teachers, he talked about trauma being the tyranny of the past. So
the attorney of the past?
The tyranny.
The tyranny of the past.
So we're in the present moment, but we're actually reacting to the past.
What Dr. Maté just described as the tyranny of the past is something so many of us live with without even realizing it. Think about it. How many times have you reacted in the present, but deep down, you know the intensity wasn't about this moment at all? It was about every similar moment before it. This is why healing isn't just about managing emotions in the present. It's about understanding the history behind them so you can finally respond as the person you are today, not as the wounded child you once were.
Now, throughout the first year of my life, given our situation, my mother was really stressed, unhappy, even terrorized. She couldn't give me that calm, attuned, loving attention that I needed. She did her best, for God's sakes. What could be greater love than for a 24-year-old young woman to give her baby to a total stranger in the street, But how do I experience it? I experience is a rejection.
Right.
So the person that ought to be loving me is giving me away. I can only conclude from that I'm not lovable.
Ah, I see.
Now, once I don't think I'm lovable, I'm not going to believe that anybody actually loves me, no matter what they manifest or what they show me.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm blaming them for my own sense of unlovability.
100%.
You know?
You talk also about not parent blaming, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, look.
I mean, your story right there about your mother gave you away because it was imagine the terror, the pain in her of like, the most loving thing I can do is put my child somewhere else away from me right now for its own safety.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Well, all parents, we're born with a caring instinct, you know, like we're born with certain emotional systems in our brain. Play is one of them. Curiosity, seeking, the dopamine circuit is another one. Caring, loving is another one. We're just born with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's instinctual. All mammals are born with it.
Oh, yeah.
No mammal infant would survive without it.
Right.
You know? So I never doubt that parents love their kids, or that there's at least an impulse in them to do so. But the love that the parent feels is not that the love what the child receives. What the child receives is the quality of the parent's presence. Are they calm? Are they attuned? Are they emotionally present? Are they preoccupied, stressed, depressed, traumatized, overworked, whatever? Any of those conditions, the child does not experience the love in its whole sense.
Right.
So even though you might know that your mother loved you, and I'm sure she did in her own way, and she did her very best, but she was not able to give you those qualities that you would really in your heart experience as love.
Yeah.
You know, and so in this society where, as you said earlier, parents have to go to work just to put bread on the table, and where so many people are economically insecure, where there's so much stress, so much division, so much angst, so much aggression, so much suspicion. What's it like to be a parent? It's really, really difficult. And don't forget, we didn't evolve in nuclear families. We evolved in groups where kids are around nurturing adults the whole day, including their parents, but not only their parents.
Yeah.
So in today's society, parenting has become almost an impossible task. Why would I blame any parent? And I'll even say this, and I'm not trying to excuse anything, because there's no excuse. That's not the point. But if you look at parents who abuse their kids, what happened to them as kids?
They were abused.
They were abused. It's multigenerational. It's not that they grow up, it's not that they decide I'm going to abuse my kids. They just act out what happened to them.
Yeah.
So I think blame, no, responsibility is one thing, blame is another. I think blame is totally unscientific, it's cruel, and it's totally inappropriate. So as much as I point out the impact of early experience, there's absolutely no room for blaming parents. And Theo, what's really interesting to me is after I wrote my book on addiction, occasionally some strange person will come up to me and said, my child died of an overdose, and I thank you for writing the book. And I'd always find that a bit startling, because in the book I'm saying that it's childhood experience and trauma that ultimately result in the addiction. And they say, you know what, because I finally get it. I finally understand what happened. And I get it as multi-generational, that it's nobody's fault. There's nobody to be blamed here. You know, the question is, in each generation, can we take responsibility so we don't pass it on to the next one? But blame, there's no room for it.
Yeah.
And Robert Sapolsky, the scientist who I quoted, he said there's just no room for blame. And you can even be angry.
Right. You can be angry.
Without blaming.
Right.
Because why wouldn't you be angry?
Yeah.
When those things happen to you. So it's not a question of telling people don't be angry. But having anger and owning it is not the same as saying you did something deliberately that you shouldn't have done and you
Right.
should have known better and you said terrible, it's so there's anger, healthy anger, necessary anger, and then there's the expectation that people take responsibility,
Yeah.
each for ourselves, and then there's blame, which is a whole other bag of monkeys.
Yeah. It's a zoo we don't need to be involved in.
No, we don't need that.
What makes you laugh? Like,
What-
is there like shows you like to watch or a thing you like?
Well, sometimes what makes me laugh is my own ridiculousness.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes me too. I know it's going to be a good day if I find that I'm laughing at myself.
Yeah. Well, there's so many, like the little human ego is, on the one hand, we can be compassionate towards it, but on the other hand, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we can laugh at ourselves. My wife and I laugh a lot.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. That's one of our saving. It's been 55 years in a month. And I tell you, we've laughed so much together at ourselves, at each other.
That's adorable.
What makes me laugh? Usually absurdity.
Yeah?
When things are absurd, they make me laugh, where they're so out of touch with reality. Yeah. Those are the things that make me laugh.
If this conversation opened something inside you, remember, awareness is the first step to healing. Take a moment today to notice your reactions and ask yourself where they truly began. The more we understand our past, the freer we become in our present. If this message resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Your story might be the light someone else needs today. And if you found value here, consider subscribing so you don't miss more conversations like this.